Hey there, I'm Nancy, and I've got a wild story for you. So my husband Robert and I decided to go camping to create some unforgettable memories. We packed our gear, grabbed some snacks, and headed out to this secluded spot in the woods that we had heard so much about. Little did we know this trip would turn into something we'd never forget, for all the wrong reasons. The sun was setting as we arrived at the campsite, casting a warm golden glow over the trees. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of pine and earth. We set up our tent near a small bubbling creek, the sound of water adding a peaceful backdrop to our adventure. Robert was in high spirits, joking around as he struggled to pitch the tent. Robert said, "If I can't get this tent up, we might as well sleep under the stars." I laughed, feeling the excitement of the trip wash over me. We finally got everything set up, and as darkness fell, we lit a campfire. The flames danced, crackling and popping, and we roasted marshmallows while sharing stories about our childhood camping trips. As the night deepened, the woods around us grew eerily quiet. The usual sounds of crickets and rustling leaves faded away, leaving an unsettling silence. I glanced at Robert, who was still poking at the fire, seemingly oblivious to the change in atmosphere. "Hey, do you notice how quiet it's gotten?" I asked, trying to shake off the feeling of unease creeping in. Robert replied, "It's just the woods, babe. They get quiet at night, nothing to worry about." But I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. I brushed it off as paranoia, but the sensation lingered. After a while, we decided to turn in for the night. As we crawled into our sleeping bags, I felt a chill run down my spine, despite the warmth of the fire. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to a strange noise outside the tent. It sounded like whispering, soft and unintelligible. I nudged Robert, who groaned and turned away. "Robert, wake up." "Do you hear that?" I whispered, my heart racing. He sighed, clearly annoyed, but sat up. "What are you talking about?" I held my breath, straining to listen. The whispering continued, growing louder but still indistinct. It felt like it was coming from all around us. Robert finally got out of the sleeping bag and unzipped the tent flap. "I'll check it out," he said, trying to sound brave. I felt a mix of fear and concern as he stepped outside, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the darkness. I waited, my heart pounding in my chest. A few moments later, Robert returned, looking pale. "There's nothing out there," he said, but his voice trembled slightly, just the wind. I wanted to believe him, but the whispering continued, now sounding almost like laughter. I pulled the sleeping bag tighter around me, trying to block out the noise. The next morning, we decided to hike a nearby trail to clear our heads. As we walked, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The woods felt too quiet, too still. We reached a clearing with a beautiful view, but I noticed something strange. A series of old, weathered totems scattered around, their faces carved with expressions that seemed to watch us. "What do you think these are?" I asked, feeling a chill run down my spine. Robert said, "Probably some old Native American markers." Let's not dwell on it. But as we turned to leave, I caught a glimpse of something moving in the trees. It was quick, just a flash of white, but it sent a jolt of fear through me. I grabbed Robert's arm. "Did you see that?" I asked, my voice shaky. He looked back, but whatever it was had vanished. We hurried back to the campsite, the unease growing with every step.